Bitcoin wasn't just some random invention. It was a direct answer to a global crisis.
Believe it or not, this headline is hidden in the very first block of Bitcoin ever created. It's basically a timestamp, tying its birth directly to the 2008 financial meltdown.
Right in the middle of all that chaos, a mystery person, Satoshi Nakamoto, proposed something totally new.
The big idea? Let people send money to each other directly. No bank needed. But, that creates a huge problem, called the double spend problem. Think about it. You can't spend a real coin twice, but a digital file, you can copy it forever.
See, banks solve this by keeping a private list of who owns what. Bitcoin's idea? Make that list public.
And that public ledger is the big invention here. It's what we call the blockchain.
So here's how it works. A transaction gets sent out to a huge network for approval. Once enough of them agree, it's locked in forever. It's money and a payment system in one.
It's kind of like how email got rid of the post office. Bitcoin wants to do that for banks. And this has some pretty huge real-world consequences. Let's start with the cost.
That's the average fee to send money internationally. That's just a lot of wasted cash.
So supporters dream of cheaper payments and banking for the billions who don't have it. But of course, being so new, it's got some serious hurdles and a lot of critics.
Yeah, its price is all over the place, it's a target for hackers, and it's been used for illegal stuff.
When you boil it all down, Bitcoin comes from a deep distrust of our financial institutions. And it makes you ask a really big question. What is money and who gets to control it?
Which brings us to the big debate we're still having. Is this a revolution or just a wild gamble?
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a technology that was literally born from the chaos of a global financial crisis. A technology that promises to change the very nature of money itself.
So let's start right here. This isn't just some old newspaper headline. This is a message that was embedded forever into the very first piece of the Bitcoin network. Think of it as a digital timestamp, a permanent nod to the 2008 financial crisis, and honestly, it's the key to understanding why Bitcoin was even created in the first place.
So picture this. Banks are collapsing. Governments are scrambling to print money for massive bailouts. And right in the middle of all that chaos, a mysterious, anonymous creator, who we only know as Satoshi Nakamoto, publishes a paper online. The solution it laid out wasn't just a tweak. It was a radical challenge to the entire system that so many people felt had just completely failed them.
So what was the big idea? Well, at its core, it was to create a brand new kind of digital money. One that wasn't controlled by any single government or any big bank. Kind of like what email did for communication, Bitcoin was designed to do for money. It was built from the ground up to be a currency for the internet age.
Okay, but that brings up a massive question, right? How in the world can you send digital money directly to someone without a bank in the middle to verify everything and make sure it's legit? This gets us to a really tough problem that computer scientists had been wrestling with for years.
I mean, think about it. With a physical dollar bill, it's simple. Once you give it to someone, you don't have it anymore. But a digital file, you can copy and paste that a million times. This is called the double spend problem. And for a long, long time, the only way to solve it was to have a trusted company, like a bank, keeping track. Solving this without a bank, well, that was Bitcoin's huge breakthrough.
So here's where you have to kind of flip your thinking. Instead of relying on one single central gatekeeper like a bank, Bitcoin relies on a huge global network of computers. In this system, everybody in the network helps to validate the transactions. And if everyone's watching, you don't really need a single company in the middle anymore. The secret sauce here is a technology called the blockchain. The easiest way to think of it is like a public ledger, a giant shared digital notebook. Every single transaction that has ever happened gets recorded in this notebook. And here's the clever part. A copy of that notebook is shared with thousands of computers all over the world. Because it's so widely shared and constantly being checked by everyone, it becomes practically impossible for anyone to cheat or change the past.
So what does a transaction actually look like? Well, first, when you go to send some Bitcoin, your request gets broadcast out to the whole network. Then these specialized users called miners jump into action. They use incredibly powerful computers to solve a really complex math problem. And solving it is what verifies a whole batch of recent transactions. The first miner to crack the code gets to add that new block of transactions to the chain, locking it in forever. And for doing all that work, they get rewarded with brand new Bitcoins. They are, in a very real sense, the decentralized bookkeepers for this whole new financial system.
Okay, so we've got this amazingly complex, super secure system. But what's the point? Why go through all this trouble? Well, the answer really lies in the kinds of doors this technology opens for people all over the world.
First up, and this is a big one, the costs. Just look at this chart. We're talking about dramatically lower transaction fees. For things like sending money overseas, where the fees can be absolutely insane, this is a total game changer. It's also a huge deal for small business owners who are just tired of getting hammered by credit card fees and dealing with fraudulent chargebacks.
But it goes way beyond just fees. Think about the billions of people on Earth who don't have access to a bank account. This gives them a way to join the global economy. Or what if you live in a country with runaway inflation, like Argentina, where your savings are losing value every single day? For many, Bitcoin has become a way to protect what they've earned. It can even be a way to get around restrictive government rules that trap your money inside a country.
Now, this number right here, this might be one of the most important things to understand about Bitcoin, and it ties right back to that headline about bank bailouts. This number represents absolute, predictable digital scarcity. Unlike currencies we're used to, which can be printed endlessly by central banks, there is a fixed, unchangeable supply of 21 million Bitcoins. That's it. It's written into the code. No more can ever be created, ever.
But of course, let's be real, this new world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. This is a powerful technology, and with that power comes some very serious risks and challenges that we absolutely have to talk about.
The first thing everybody points to is this. Its price is an absolute roller coaster. Bitcoin is famous for its speculative bubbles and its heart-stopping crashes that can wipe out huge amounts of value, sometimes literally overnight. That makes it an incredibly risky thing for most people to own.
And security is a huge one. With Bitcoin, you are your own bank, which sounds great until you realize there's no "I forgot my password" button. If you lose your private digital keys, your money is just gone, forever. On top of that, the online exchanges where people buy and sell have been massive targets for hackers, leading to some truly catastrophic losses over the years.
And yeah, in the early days, because you don't have to attach your real name to it, Bitcoin became the currency of choice for some shady online marketplaces. The most infamous was the Silk Road, basically an eBay for illegal goods. Now, even though that activity was just a tiny fraction of what was happening on the network, it definitely hurt Bitcoin's reputation for a long time.
So, when you put it all together, what are we really looking at here? I think the best way to think about Bitcoin is as a grand, ongoing monetary experiment. It's a brand new chapter in the long, long story of money, and we're all watching it unfold in real time.
And you know, Fernando Ulrich, the author of our source material, really captures this feeling perfectly. He doesn't just see it as a piece of tech, he sees it as a source of hope, a grateful novelty that challenges a system that many people feel has let them down.
Ultimately, Bitcoin really forces all of us to ask a huge question about the future of money. Is this the very beginning of a massive economic revolution, or is it a fascinating but maybe dangerously risky experiment? The truth is, nobody knows for sure. And for now, the final answer is still being written.